Hello, good morning and welcome to Newsfile. This is your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. Boku is back in the news. Well, a lot appears to have been happening there, except it was not in the mainline news. Now, people are shot and killed, and there appears to be yet another tension. So when exactly and how will this conflict end? We'll speak to those who know deep enough to help us in the analysis. The controversial SML contract that is giving Ghana such a bad name abroad, as reported by the international press. That is the contract that Manasseh Azuri and his friends at the Fourth Estate found that the state or Ghanaians have been told lies. And it appears that instead of protecting the public purse, the purse, which is almost empty, is being looted. Civil society organizations who have reviewed what is going on smell, create, loot, and share. SML has received some 750 million Ghana cedis so far. And again, upon the extension of the contracts, is likely to get what CSOs call an annual giveaway of about $55 million at the minimum in this contract. The president says KPMG should conduct some audits. Issues are being raised. And what is that audit really about? But Parliament has stated that it was going to investigate the matter. The OSP is seized with the matter to investigate it. The Fourth Estate, latest developments. Almost all the institutions that are supposed to have a role to play are either refusing to give information or are telling the Fourth Estate that they played no role whatsoever, including the Minerals Commission and the Petroleum Commission. So what is going on? Ken Ofori-Atta, it's still in control of the broke economy and appears to be in charge of the hardships that continue to heighten. And the IMF has delayed in releasing the second tranche of the bailouts. We will examine what the developments mean in the face of rising cost of living. Of course, this year's elections will fall on the Sabbath day. A group of citizens belonging to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, they give thousands of their premises, and their members are also recruited as part of the EC's temporary staff. But they say they will not violate the Sabbath on the 7th of December 2024. What can be done for them? I'm Samson Ladianyanini. We'll be right back to deal with Vex Matters. Welcome back, and here is Samson's take. Judges' residence. Irresponsible journalism can be costly. Some media ran to press minutes after the Asen Central MP alleged that the Minister for Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, and former Chief Justice Kwesi Anin-Yeboah had engaged in some corrupt conduct over a bungalow for Justice Samuel Mafosao after his death in August 2021. The indecent haste to give currency to the allegation was as shameful as it was most unprofessional, because the allegation was one that was easily verifiable, but not verifying put those spreading it and media houses at risk of defamation suits they simply cannot defend. Now, even if, as later explained by his brother and lawyer, Raphael Ejapong, who is seeking to wrestle the Bantama constituency from the minister, was true, that the concern was lack of consent from the judiciary to take over the property, that was also very easily verifiable just by a phone call. It was the height of reckless journalism to publish such defamatory comments by a man seeking votes for his brother without the basic checks required by the ethics, natural justice, and common sense. I train journalists on these issues, and I know too well that no journalism school teaches this kind that tarnishes the practice generally. I defend journalists, but don't come calling me, not even for the frequent free legal advice, when you are induced or decide on your own to be this unprofessional. Apologize now to mitigate what those affected may do. You know, they can sue just anyone, any entity or group of persons spreading the false claims. Joy News Checks brought up this February 2023 agreement between the Judicial Service and the Ministry of Works and Housing. It was an agreement to pull down 4 of those small houses sitting on large tracts of land into 20 modern houses. The judge's house is one of 2 allocated by the ministry to the Service for Superior Court Judges. Upon completion, that's within 2 years, the service gets 4 modern houses for its judges. Truth is, the government, through the District Assembly's Common Fund, has been doing a good job building modern houses and courts, modern houses for judges and judicial service staff. Justice Anin-Yeboah is credited for one of such projects where the Asantehene gave 7 acres of land, prime land, for a residential complex at Denyame in Kumasi. And what you're seeing is those houses completed and habited. The 20 units, fully furnished, 4-bedroom townhouses, each with a 2-bedroom outhouse, a swimming pool, a 7-bedroom guest house, a clubhouse, tennis court, and gymnasium, as well as 2 apartment blocks made up of 6-bedroom residential units for other staff of the Judicial Service, began in April 2021 and was completed within 18 months. The pictures I'm showing you were taken, or this video was taken during the inauguration by the President, the former Chief Justice, and the Asantehene. This project, we are told, is also part of ensuring the security of the judges, and that no wrongdoing was done whatsoever in converting those 2 small houses on large tracts of land into modern houses for the judicial service. Let's just be ethical and responsible. And that is my take. You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, as always, we put Ghana first. And the very first issue we are canvassing for you, as brief as we can, has to do with developments in Boku, where 5 people have so far fallen dead. And the situation there is not pleasant at all. Joining us, Mahama Yariga is the MP for Boku Central. Also, Amadou Hamza Zanga is the MCE for Boku. We have a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping and Training Center, Dr. Victor Doke, also joining us. Of course, if you have followed the news, you would have heard about how 3 people were shot and killed, and then 2 again, and bringing the death toll to 5 so far. One of the stories that was carried by Joy News just yesterday read that a bus carrying about 45 students of the Presbyterian Nurses Training College, Boku, has been attacked by 2 gunmen on motorbikes near Binduri in the Upper East region. A number of students who were injured due to the attack have been rushed to the Boku Presbyterian Hospital for treatment. This incident is said to have occurred Friday afternoon and follows the killing of 5 persons, within the past 48 hours. Honorable Mama Yaga, thank you very much for making time to join us this morning.
Good morning to your viewers.
Great. So this is coming just not too long ago, last year, when we had to engage you about similar incidents there involving the military, where you actually had to take a step to go to Shraj. What is it that is happening now?
Well, I mean, it's difficult to understand why the military will do what they are doing, because to be able to keep peace there, you need to work with the community, and the community needs to have confidence in the security agencies. But when it is rather the security agencies that are doing the killing, then you are creating a situation where you provide justification for the community not wanting to cooperate with law enforcement agencies. And we all don't want that. That is why I find it totally unacceptable that the military should behave the way that they have conducted themselves in Boku. And in particular, the way that these 3 young men were killed. They were murdered because the security agencies, the soldiers, actually apprehended them, and they had no reason to shoot and kill these 3 young men. And so I find that totally unacceptable, and we will continue to demand accountability on the part of the security agencies.
So as I asked earlier, what's your understanding for our viewers, corporate leaders who don't get time to follow the news until a morning like this, when they are all glued to this set, and our viewers abroad? What is it that led to this killing?
How do I know what led to the killing? Young men are sitting in their base and having their conversation, and then the military pounced on them. One escaped. They shot and missed him. Then the 3 that were there, they apprehend them, they beat them up, and then they shoot them. The people are not fighting soldiers. Soldiers are not fighting the people. The soldiers haven't come out with a statement telling us exactly what these 3 young men were doing, for which reason they had to.
Yes, but you are the MP, so you would have found out, as you have always done, and even gone ahead to take, action in legal action against them. It's unthinkable that the military will attack, shoot, and kill without any provocation.
Exactly. That is why I am condemning them, because they should produce the provocation. What was the provocation? I am saying on authority, and there are eyewitnesses. The assemblyman for the area is alive. He came out, he pleaded with the soldiers to release the boys. They refused. So there are witnesses. So obviously, the military is the one to produce provocation. What provoked you to the point where after you had apprehended them, if they were even running away and then you fired, you could have concocted a story. But you arrested them. They were talking with you. So on what basis did you decide to shoot them? So that is really something that the military owes us an obligation to explain. So I'm not the one to produce the reason why that happened. I know that my boys were just having their conversation, and then soldiers pounced on them. 4 of them, one ran away. They shot and missed him. Then they apprehended the 3, picked them up. That gentleman came out, pleaded with them. They won't release them. Then ultimately, they shot those 3 boys and killed them. So they should tell us why.
Please hold on briefly for me. Amadou Hamza Zanga, the MCE for Boku, thank you for joining us. What do you know led to what has happened, leading to the killings, and throwing the town once again into this heightened tension? Hello, Amadou.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Yes. I say good morning and good morning to all cherished listeners. It's a sad moment for Boku. I must say so because as a municipal chief executive and as the chairman of the Municipal Security Council, this is a very difficult moment for us in Boku. Yes, the question about the murder of the 3 guys rightly mentioned. That is true. The thing is that we are politicians, and as politicians, there's always the need for us to be decorum. There's the need for us to exercise some civility and also be very mindful of the things that we say on air and also in the media. All of us are putting our heads together to ensure there's lasting peace in Boku. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the National Security Minister, the Regional Minister, and myself, including the Member of Parliament, we are all putting our heads together to ensure there's peace in Boku. Be that as it may, if things like that come up, we are not part of, we are not first witnesses of the thing. We sought to rely on others for information. I am on the ground, and I always think that there's a need for us to always talk and collaborate. We'll get to ascertain whether or not indeed a particular incident happened or not. Yes, when this happened, I heard a gunshot about 200 to 300 meters away from my house. Indeed, the first point I would always call is the police divisional commander, and also I'll follow up a call on the military commander because they are the men on the ground.
Right, so you say you are the man who is on the ground. That's very
Absolutely.
good. And you label this as murder. That's even more serious. So tell us what led to the murder.
No, I am using it for people to understand, ordinary members to understand. Good. Now, when I heard these gunshots, it is normal in Boku that I would always call to find out from these security captains. And it took them a few minutes for them to respond back to me. And then the commander of the military on the ground mentioned to me that, in fact, they had an exchange with some boys who were around Asaniya school. I said, what boys? Where are they coming from? It was, at that time, being a stranger, difficult for him to tell me exactly where the boys are coming from. But I said, what happened? And then he told me they actually fired into them, and they also fired back. And because of that, they were able to neutralize them as the term they always use in the military. And so it led to the death of 3 persons. However, they have called the police to come for them. This is exactly what the military commander has informed me on that said day. And so I am reporting to you based on the facts that I gathered from them. In fact, I went back to the police commander and equally got the same story from the police commander.
The boys were doing what exactly?
They were, according to them, they were firing back at them. They saw them and they were firing guns up to the soldiers. And they exchanged gunshots with them.
Yeah, so what happened? What led to exchange of gunfire? Something must have happened. What was that?
That I can't tell. I wasn't on the ground, and I'm telling you exactly what I was told.
Yes, those who are telling you, they don't tell you what led to the exchange of gunfire.
You see, in Boku here, what we know is that, and when there are guns fired around, usually and ordinarily, the two tribes, Mampushis and the Mampushis and then the Kusasis would always be at each other. And there are occasions, and many occasions, the military or the police must come in between them to separate the fight. And when they come, you cannot come and tell them, leave my gun, put the gun down. No. The only thing they do is to fire gunshots to disperse either the Mampushis and the Kusasis to run away back home. This is what they do here.
Right.
So if you come very closer to one of the feuding factions, what the military would do is to engage them. Because if there are gunshots, according to them, we have always asked them and cautioned them to be mindful of the things that they do.
Yeah, so over 48 hours, you still do not know what exactly led to the exchange of gunfire. You are the head of the municipal security.
I'm reporting to you based on the information that I gathered.
Yes, but your information. Yes, but sir, your information, as you admit, is incomplete because there will not be exchange of gunfire without anything. Something must have happened. What were the guys doing exactly that led to it?
So that is why I'm telling you that the military commander had informed me that the guys were exchanging gunshots with them. They were exchanging gunfires with us. That's what he told me. That's what he told me.
Yeah, so if you understand me, if you understand me respectfully, sir, I get the part about exchanging gunfire with the military. But what led the military to get to them to lead to the exchange? What happened? Were they fighting some group?
There were gunfires.
Okay.
There were incidences in Boku in the last week. A guy was killed earlier. A Mampushi man was killed earlier. And I think 2-3 days afterwards, 6 people were fired, not too far away from the police station. It led to an instant death of one Moshi man. Then subsequently the following morning, a 17-year-old boy died through that incident. 4 of the victims are currently hospitalized in 2 hospitals in Boku. Some are at the Presbyterian Hospital and some are also at Bandyard. Then we heard of another major incident or killing incident, if I may use that term, in Bolgatanga, of which somehow others related it to the Boku case. And so because of that, it began, shots started the whole Boku. Especially closer to Sabungari areas, of which I am not too far away from that place. And so it took us the following day up to dawn, and there were gunfire in Boku.
Boku is, if you may say, it's a militarized zone now.
I'm coming. Something. So I am giving you the historical antecedent that led to this. You are asking of the cause.
All right.
Or what triggered these things. And so let me also let me caution you that in Boku, somebody can just get up and take a gun and start firing without a cause.
Yeah, we have heard reports like that.
And so it's like that. It is not as if there must be a trigger, and that would be the one that would lead into another conflict or something.
Right. So to the question I was about to ask you, yeah, thank you very much for that. To the question I was about to ask you, Boku is literally, you can say, it's now a militarized zone.
Absolutely.
The military is everywhere. So how do these things happen on the blind side of the military? People getting killed and so on. The feuding factions.
Something. Let me tell you that Boku is more dangerous than what you think. You cannot have every military man standing by everyone's house. You can't have a policeman to a particular house And so the deployment that we do in the municipality is supposed to be a distance from the other. And that's what we do.
But
now,
have you not failed in your duty to ensure that there are no guns in the homes, where we are told almost every house, has guns?
There will never be 2 months past that without searches. The military and the police have done a lot of searches. They've searched almost all houses in Boku, and it is very difficult to retrieve these guns from the residents of Boku. Mr. Mama Yarga is aware of what I am talking about.
Okay.
And I'm telling you that this happened since the 50s.
Okay, so
constant searches in Boku.
So tell me, as head of the Municipal Security Council, what is going to happen from here after what you have gathered?
We are actually putting our things together. We're gathering our facts. When it happens, there are some instances that we call an emergency meeting. There are other instances where we wait to gather the facts before we can call for a meeting. As I talk to you, the place is not that safe. The commanders are moving about and ensuring there's peace in Boku. They will have to ensure that people are safe. So we are preparing ahead. From now to Monday or Tuesday, we'll call for a meeting and then and look at the way forward.
When the EC wanted to do a registration exercise there, there had to be division, all sorts of problems. Do you think Boku can host elections this year?
I am not the EC, and I'm also not the security man, but I can tell you that
you are the head of the security there.
I am the head of the security in Boku, but I'm not a security man, Samson. I am telling you that my men are ready to ensure there is free and fair elections on 7th December 2024. But I cannot predict what will happen before then. But all things being equal.
Okay, briefly and finally, right.
We will have elections on the same day that Ghanaians will equally have their elections in all the other
Thank you for that. Briefly and finally, what has become of the news we were told about the intervention of the Asantehene and the team to try and bring peace? Because what you need is peace, and it must be as quickly as possible. This fighting and bloodshed has continued for just too long.
Asantehene is matter, the one that they sent, I think it's AGM, right?
That's right.
What I can tell you is that it is handled at the national level. I am not privy to some of the information that is being handled at the national level. So I think that the president, in his own wisdom, had been able to stick with Asantehene and ask them to ensure they put their heads together to bring lasting peace to Boku. And I'm very confident about the process, that indeed it will come out and everybody will go to rest.
Yeah, except it's taking too long, and you are having to superintend over a ghost town, and you must not be happy about that.
That's very true. That's very true. I'm not happy about it. As a municipal chief, you are inheriting within 3 weeks, and there's conflict in Boku. You must be so worried about this development. I am here to ensure that I bring bread and butter to the people of Boku.
Amadou,
so the development is something that is actually causing us a whole lot of problems within the municipalities. And we are spending so much time on security, almost every 24 hours. Our attention is on security either than development.
You're right. Amadou Hamza Zanga, MC for Boku, thank you very much for your time, sir. Right. Back to you, the Honorable MP for Boku Central, Mahama Yaraga. Now that you are hearing from the MCE what appears to be the cause of what happened, what do you say?
The MCE told you that he was told by the security people that that is what happened. Naturally, the security persons who have committed the act will cover their tracks. They will not tell him the truth. I'm telling you, friends and agents to the community, eyewitnesses saw everything that happened. These boys were not exchanging fire with anybody. They were actually apprehended by the soldiers. because they were sitting. They were not, one ran away, but the others were sitting there because if I'm doing nothing, I haven't committed an offense and I'm sitting at my base and you are coming, why should I run? But one of them ran. The three that thought that there was nothing wrong with waiting for soldiers to come to them, they got apprehended by the soldiers. They beat them up. The assemblyman came out and pleaded with the soldiers to release the boys. They refused. And then ultimately, they shot the boys. He gets some of the community. So, when soldiers do that, you expect them to now come and tell you empty that, oh, no, we just beat them up. They annoyed us and then we started to shoot them. Don't forget that these same soldiers, last year, they went and shot about 7 young men.
Yeah.
When I took them on, they issued a statement saying that they neutralized those people. I took the matter to Shraj. Last month, Shraj wrote back to me saying that the soldiers denied killing anybody on that day at that community. So, clearly, they would deny. But send them to the community to find out exactly what happened.
Yeah, but Shraj cannot stop. Shraj cannot stop at listening to the soldiers and say, since they've denied, that's the end of it. Because it is investigating.
I'm just telling you the attitude.
All right.
Give me the attitude that they will deny, even when they have committed the offense. Even in this instance where they publicly admitted, they said they neutralized, they used the word neutralize. And you heard the MP also saying that they said, oh, they neutralized young men who were engaged in the exchanges with them. There's no young man in Boku who just face soldiers and be engaged in gunfire exchanges with soldiers. No young man will do that. Because these are professionals. They know how to shoot better than you. So the boys don't engage the soldiers. They don't. It is a lie.
But don't you think that you may be assuming too much when you say no young man, with such, completeness, particularly where we are told again about how even, is it a bomb or so was planted by ordinary people in the same area. So some young men may be capable of doing what you may not be able to imagine.
Let me tell you something. If the young men engage the soldiers, I will know. And I'm telling you that they did not engage the soldiers. I will know. And I will not go public and attack the military when I know that the boys are wrong. I've not done that before.
Okay.
But when they are wrong, the soldiers are wrong, we need to face them and let them know that they are wrong.
Right.
We need them there. We have called for reinforcement. We've called for the military to be brought there, and they have been brought there in response to our own plea. But then, you should not also become the problem. That is my concern. I'm not against the soldiers.
Right.
But I also will not allow the soldiers to just assume that when they get frustrated, then they should, unleash mayhem on the young people.
Are you hopeful?
You are not an ordinary human being. You are very professional.
As the MP, I'm sure you are also very worried about the fact that your beloved, constituency and town is being turned into a ghost town, and even religious organizations that have hospitals there threatening to withdraw, their staff because they are not safe, banking services and all of these. How hopeful are you of a resolution? How soon from all that is going on so far?
Well, the underlying cause of the problem in Boku, I would say, and I said this on your station yesterday in the morning, and the MP was challenging me, but he knows. The truth of the matter is that the NPP promised my uncles, chieftaincy, and they voted on account of that promise, and then they haven't done it. And the people are fighting, asking for their own pound of flesh. But you promised us this, and you must give it to us. Now, they know that it is not possible. Nana Akufo-Addo came and then publicly said that, no, that's not possible. Bawumia himself came recently and also said that is not possible. Hello?
Yes, you are on.
Yeah, so now the issue is for them to now enforce their position. The fact that, chieftaincy cannot shift from Kotasi to Mampushi. They have to enforce that. There is an outstanding issue, which is that the Mampushis have then gone to ensure a rival, supposedly ensure a rival chief who is sitting in a room.
That's right.
The government says that is wrong. The government hasn't done anything about that. So these are the underlying causes. If you don't deal with it and you bring the entire Ghana armed forces to the place, like the MPE said, because you cannot, place a soldier before every single house, you still have security challenges without dealing with the underlying issues.
All right.
That's the reality of the situation.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I am hoping that Otufo, His Royal Majesty, will find a way of getting both sides to engage. And I believe that under his authority, both sides will engage constructively, both Patashi and Mampushi, so that we can come to some amicable understanding that the status quo is what will remain, and then find a way of dealing with the issues of the other side. Then we can, look at these five and then chart a path of peace and then redevelop the constituency.
Thank you.
So I report so much confidence in Otufo and his ability to bring this situation under control.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Dr. Victor Doke. Doctor, thank you very much for making time to join us. I know that the issue in Boku is very sensitive, has history that goes into several decades. There have been courts, there have even been state legislation trying to enforce a certain state over this same issue. And all the time, it doesn't seem to work. So I know it is not a simple issue. But from where you sit, quickly, what's your prescription for peace, for the restoration of peace and some normalcy within this place, instead of the bloodbath and all the things that we see that we don't want to have the memories of?
Right. Thank you, Samson, and Happy New Year to you. Now, before I go to the prescription, let me highlight some of the challenges from listening to yesterday's conversations with stakeholders and all that. There's a clear problem here that there isn't a collaboration or coordination between even the state agencies that are on the ground there to ensure peace, i.e. the military, the police, and other state institutions. Okay? Now, the resources aren't there to build a capacity to train these servicemen to understand how to relate with conflict access, i.e. the Mampusis and then the Kusasis, the youth especially. Now, the political will somehow is lacking. We need to ensure that there's a political will to invest the resources needed, involve the CSOs to come in. There are NGOs on the ground there. Most of the times you don't even hear about these NGOs except when there's a meeting, bilateral consultations that they are invited. But when you go to the ground, you need these NGOs to also be part of you, to ensure your engagement with the community is there. We don't have the sustained engagement going in. Every time we start a process, then we lay back, thinking that when we send the soldiers there to separate the two sides from clashing, then that is it. But you still hear sporadic shootings. That tells you that the guns are still in the system.
I'm told the shooting is a daily occurrence, really.
It is. It is. And from my research there some time ago, look, these youths have the weapons because one of the mistrust between the two of them. They do not know when the either side may
But Doc, is it not surprising for a militarized zone like this? How do the weapons get in there when they are searching every week or 2 weeks to retrieve weapons?
Right, Samson, you raise a very pertinent issue. The aspect of having the military all over the town, but still you hear shootings, then that tells you that army in uniform may be lacking some essential strategy. That is what I raised the issue of the collaboration with the NGOs. The field-based organizations over there know a lot about the grounds. They have interacted with the youth. These are the youth who are carrying the weapons. Don't forget we have the porous borders in. Okay? That also contributes to the inflow of these weapons. We have kinsmen sitting in Accra sponsoring these young guys with either resources, funds, and the weapons. It is a fact. We cannot run away from it. So you can't have the military now saying, going house to house. I watched the report yesterday by City News, And then 5 months ago, there was an operation conducted by the military, went to with the aim of retrieving the weapons. But at the end of the report, I heard there was no weapon retrieved, and that was surprising. So if now you want the military to go in house to house, bear in mind it's going to create a problem. You need to approach it tactfully. Now let me go to the prescription. You need a holistic approach to this. We are lacking one sensitization, awareness creation on the part of the people to understand the effects, the impact, okay, of one, small arms like weapons proliferation, the effects of the conflict itself on the development in the town. Now, let's look at how we've neglected the essential aspect of including the civil society organizations. We have the West African Network for Peace Building, Berlin Musa Development Agency, which have worked extensively in Boku town. Other NGOs are folded up because they have run out of funds due to the protracted nature and entrenched positions taken by the two sides. We need to look at building the training and the capacity aspect of these servicemen to know how to relate to the youth, especially to even use them as a source of intelligence to retrieve information, to even know where and when these weapons are coming in. They would even pick information as to who is firing weapons, and then with that information, they can pick these people, hand them over to the police, and then the aspect of also treating criminal matters criminal has to be reinforced. Most of the times you hear if someone is arrested or a group is arrested, right, and evidence has proven that they have involvement in this issue, what happens? We hear they have been let go.
How bad is the influence of the political leaders and the political division, which apparently has aligned with, you know, the ethnic groups, the two? In how is what they do frustrate the ability to achieve, you know, a restoration of peace? You are listening to the MP, you are listening to the MCE, and you can hear the undertones, you know, the politics in there. The MP says, no young man, he's so emphatic about it. But we know that there have been situations where young men have actually, you know, exchanged gunfire with the military.
Right. Rightly said. Now, when you look at the political dynamics with this kind of conflict, we would agree the dynamics will be there. But how do we ensure that the dynamics do not influence the conflict in a bad way? Now, when you have political heads, okay, of course we know that whoever controls the majority controls virtually everything. You will the authority and the power in decision-making, political appointments. And that is to an advantage per the political space we have in Ghana, okay? Now, how do we ensure that these political heads do not take advantage of the conflict, okay, influence the youth in a bad way to now engage or to take the entrenched positions that they are still holding on to? We need to have an extensive multilateral stakeholder consultations, okay? Including these political heads, which, per my understanding, has been also neglected at some point.
All right.
We need to do that. When we do that, we'll have some positive outcome. Or else we'll have spillovers like we are hearing elsewhere in Accra. And these are youth from Boku who have come here to do business or whatever. And they are following events in Bawku.
All right.
And trust me, they will just go in and then support their kinsmen when they feel they need to.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc, for your intervention, and at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center for helping so very extensively on this matter. You guys have developed so much research and interaction with the people, and you have always assisted us, from Dr. Kwesi to the rest of you. Thank you so very much. Now, just a brief commentary about how they can move forward. And, you know, for example, the last time Mama Yaga went to Shraj, now he's calling on the military. They must give good reasons. And he's right in asking that they must explain. I have someone who says, on the 12th of this month, they sent a team to Boku to install equipment in a meat factory. And they did so under military protection. A young man was killed And he says the MC actually refers to that. That's what the MC is referring to. He was killed only a few meters away from the factory. In fact, the young man was killed a few meters after their team called on him to help them out, lift something. So this team saw everything live and reported the matter to the military, and the military was engaged in gunfire. So when the politicians support their own with so much, faith, they ought to be cautious, right?
Yes, I agree with you to that extent. But first of all, good morning to you. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Good to see you after a long while.
It's to my people in South Dine, Peki, Pali, Something.
It's Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo who is speaking. Forgive me, I didn't introduce you.
My position is very simple on this matter. We have a national security strategy document. If you read it, Boku features in it prominently. And the strategies drawn by the national security apparatus to deal with the problem. So I am surprised, even with all the strategies outlined in the document, to dealing with the issues, we still have this problem. Why? Because there are no consequences arising when people commit crimes or offenses or commit acts that ought to be punished.
All right.
There are simply no consequences. These are extrajudicial killings. Before I got here, I had read the Honorable Mama Yarga has put out a statement.
Are you not also falling into that error?
No.
You say these are extrajudicial killings.
Yes, but it is. But it is. Otherwise, you can get killed, I can get killed, and nothing happens. There has to be consequences. See, we want to create a situation.
Someone will tell you that this is literally a war zone.
It is not. It is not. We have crisis, but it hasn't degenerated to one of war.
Every home has guns hoarded. They can't find them
Why
when
are
they
we
go there.
spending millions of our state funds on security personnel to deal with the issue? I am not a trained security personnel. You are not. That is somebody's sworn profession, for which they've gone through the ranks today. They call themselves major generals, brigadier generals, and all. That is not you and I's domain. And they brought a budget. The budget has been approved. Monies have been given. So somebody is not doing his job well.
But if you are doing this, you face resistance. And when they face resistance, there may be gunfire exchanges.
Can we deal with the matter at hand? What are the facts as put out? That 4 young men.
Let's not go to the facts, because sometimes it's difficult.
You see, you're asking for a very brief comment.
Let me tell you, there's not a single day
Yes.
I have hosted a discussion or moderated a discussion on Boku that I didn't get almost both factions calling me after the show. And some are angry, saying this fact was wrong, this fact was that, and you don't even know how to moderate that.
So let me make the simplest point, that when things like this happen, there must be consequences. People must be punished. If we don't punish, we'll create an artificial war and commit murder. And that, for me, is what I suspect is happening.
All right.
Create a conflict situation and kill your opponent in the name of conflict.
Okay, so this is where we take a break.